A new video from the group VoteVets warns about how Project 2025 would enable Donald Trump's worst instincts when it comes to his role as commander-in-chief.
If one were to write a credible roadmap to transform our democracy into a dictatorship, this is what it would look like. And a big part of that is to turn the most effective, professional, and nonpartisan fighting machine that the world has ever seen into Trump's MAGA military force. Ready, willing, and able to deploy against our fellow citizens should Trump issue an illegal order.
Joining me now is retired Army Major General Paul Eaton, senior advisor to VoteVets. General Eaton, thank you so much for being here. We know from his history that Donald Trump asked Mark Esper, his defense secretary, whether he could shoot protesters in the legs or something after the George Floyd protests broke out. Trump told the U.S. general to just shoot protesters. That is a claim in a book previously. How much worse could it get with Project 2025 empowering him?
Joy, thank you for having VoteVets on tonight. Very much our honor to be here. So the moral compass of the United States Armed Forces is extraordinary. We work it very hard. We make sure that every young American comes in to be a great soldier, airman, Marine, sailor, and we send them back to American homes better than they came in. That moral compass is what Mr. Trump is attacking. And it's something that we work very hard to resist. The great fear that some of us have is that he will in place a structure of firing, of dismissing, of retiring, and a selection process that will try to dismantle that moral compass. It's that which every voter needs to understand, and every voter needs to make sure he understands, she understands going into the voting booth on 5 November.
You know, he's talked about bringing Michael Flynn back in, General Michael Flynn, who was driven out partly because he pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about talking to the Russians. He has pledged to allegiance to QAnon, and Donald Trump has said he'd bring his like and him personally back in. You know, with people like that in the military, again, in positions of power, can you envision Donald Trump deploying the United States military against American citizens and having the military actually harm U.S. citizens? Would they even do that?
Joy, if you pick the right people, and over 100 retired generals and admirals signed a document that challenged the results of the last election and who challenged the nature of President Biden and his ability to serve. If you dig hard enough, and if you allow Mike Flynn to dig hard enough, he will find enough miscreants that were otherwise dismissed from service to positions of authority where they would be able to have a selection process that would frustrate that which we do so well, and that is create a chain of command that is beholden and subservient to the Constitution of the United States. That's where we are. We take an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. But if you allow a president who wishes to dismiss the Constitution of the United States, that puts this whole system in great peril. And guys like Flynn, who managed to escape until very late in life, the deep look that would find him out, would be that kind of person to create this parallel system that would frustrate what we've worked so hard on in the past.
Could you have imagined ever that you would be in a position of having to warn against a president of the United States, a commander-in-chief, turning the United States military against the American people and, you know, ordering them to shoot protesters, to round people up and put them in concentration camps because they suspect they're undocumented? Could you have ever imagined that this would be a thing you'd have to warn against?
Joy, a lot of people bring up the name Richard Nixon, and Richard Nixon made some mistakes. He was a very good president in a lot of ways, creating the EPA, making systems that made America work. But Richard Nixon, at the end of the day, understood that he made mistakes, that he would have to walk out of the office of the President of the United States, and that he would be beholden to the Constitution of the United States. That was as close as our nation has come to a real criminal in the White House. Yes, we've got a new world. And no, I have never expected to see the likes of Donald Trump come into the White House better prepared today than he was when he came in 16, and with systems in place like Project 2025 and all the hosts like Christopher Miller, who supported that document and who created a system that would not work for the U.S.
Yeah. And I'm sorry that you have to make this warning, but we appreciate you doing that warning. It's very important, and we really appreciate being able to hear from you. Retired Army Major General Paul Eaton. Thank you, sir, very much. And that is tonight's ReidOut.